This is massive. Flames general manager Craig Conroy has finally spoken out and revealed the truth about a decision on whether to sign or trade Rasmus Andersson. This is a major update, and he also spoke on Dan Vladar's status as well. We're going to get into all that and more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. And finally, Craig himself has spoken out. So let's start with Conroy on Razz, of course, Rasmus Andersson. Yes, it's not, a reporter doing what's probably rumors of what Craig Conroy is saying. Now we know for sure, as the source comes from the man himself, our beloved general manager Craig Conroy. In Conroy we trust. Now let's get in and let's start with this article here. Ryan Pike kind of summed it up. So he wrote that Conroy on resolving Rasmus Andersson's future. I don't think there's a deadline, which funnily enough is actually what was kind of reported by Saravalli not too long ago. So Saravalli might have gotten this one right. Let's go easy on him in the comments. So yes, it is true. It looks like Conroy's not going to rush anything with Razz, which doesn't make a lot of fans happy. A lot of fans want the Flames to trade Rasmus Andersson away by the draft, which is rapidly coming up. So speaking with Ryan Pinder and Boomer on Barn Burner this past week, Conroy provided an update on how things have been going in terms of talks with Andersson's camp. Kind of what we've all been waiting for in a way. So here's a quote from Craig. He said, "When he left, he wanted to just take a mental break, not talk about any of this. So now over the last week, we've reached out to them and now we've started the dialogue," said Conroy. Good to know that talks are happening. So, it's the beginning of the process. We definitely have a term and number that we like, and they have a term and number they like, and that's where it begins. But that's part of the process, and I think when you're looking how this goes, it will determine a little bit of what path we're going to go down. So, numbers have been exchanged. And I'm not talking phone numbers like a night out at Cowboys. I'm talking about money, of course, something that also you can find on a night out at Cowboys. But either way, It's good to know that talks are happening. Maybe some negotiations are starting here. And you'd assume, obviously, it starts with the players' camp wanting a lot and the team not wanting to give a lot. But let's continue. "I give Razz a lot of credit. He's just very honest," said Conroy. And he just said, "Hey, if we can't come to a deal or we come to a deal, like I'm a Calgary Flame. Even if I come back next year and I don't have a deal, like I'm here, I'm going to play hard, I'm going to do everything I can for the team." Just spoken like a true hockey player. But that's great to hear that he is devoted to the Calgary Flames. Even if he knows he will be traded at next year's deadline, he knows he's still going to give it all, which is fantastic. I mean, let's face it, he's also kind of playing for a contract next season. So, of course, he's going to play hard. We've seen it many times over the past couple seasons here. So, if anything, he's been real open to beforehand those conversations. I don't think he would be upset. I don't think there's a deadline for me. And that comes from Conroy, of course. "Oh, you don't get him signed, he has to go." Like, Rasmus isn't in that mindset. Rasmus knows he wants to have a great year next year because that helps his contract, like we all do. "Every time I went in the final year, you're thinking, oh, I want to have a big year here." So Conroy understands it from the player's standpoint, of course, especially a Calgary Flames standpoint. Given the situation and Andersson's contract status, is Conroy listening on offers for Andersson? This is the juicy part we care about the most. "Well, that's just part of the job. You have to do that with every player," said Conroy. I mean, you really do, because you don't know what's going to come up, what someone's needs. Maybe there's a great fit. I never thought of it. The other guy did, and that's part of it. If there's a way someone just calls and says, "Hey, we would be willing to do X, Y, Z," and it's, "Oh, that makes total sense for the next 10 years for our team," you would look at it. But it's not just Razz, it's everybody. And that's spoken like a true, media trained professional right there by Conroy. Sure, you're talking about trade talks with Andersson, but you're kind of doing that with every player on the team. Of course, that's what he'd say. What a good GM. Would keeping Andersson long-term or moving on from Andersson cause the Flames' current retooling process to change course? Final quote from Conroy on this: "I don't think so," said Conroy. "I don't think one leads the other because the goal is to always continue to get better." So he's not saying, look, I'm trading away Andersson, we're going into more of a retool, more of a rebuild maybe. Maybe the goal is to always get better. Very interesting. Conroy speaking out but not really showing all of his cards on the Rasmus Andersson trade front, I suppose, or contract front in a way. But it sounds like at least they're on the same page or are trying to get on the same page between both Rasmus Andersson's camp and, of course, Conroy and the Flames. So overall, I'm very glad we do have this update on Razz, and we also have an update on Vladar, as Conroy has also spoken on what's going on with Vladar. Now, not exactly the exact same situation, obviously, because Vladar is currently going to be a UFA come July 1st, so it's more, do you try and sign him before that or do you trade him away? So another article here, this one from Wes Gilbertson from the Calgary Herald, and obviously not going over both articles in their entirety, but if you want to go read them, please go feel free. But this one's headline, Flames continuing to plug away on contract negotiations with Dan Vladar, says Conroy. So very interesting there. We're talking to his representation and seeing where his mindset is at. Flames general manager Craig Conroy told Post Media on Thursday when asked for an update on negotiations with Vladar. We're open, just like he was open to a contract. But both sides have to come to terms with that. We're just continuing to plug away at that one. So it's another thing that is being addressed. A great thing about Conroy is he seems to be staying on top of a lot of these contract talks. I mean, we've already seen a few players sign this offseason. Coronato, of course, we saw Klapka signed. I mean, right before I started recording, Dryden Hunt re-signed as well. Maybe that'll be part of tomorrow's video. But it is overall, it is very interesting. It's great that he's staying on top of it. And hey, they're plugging away at contract talks with Vladar, which I think a lot of people want to see. Vladar is at the tail end of a 2-year contract that carries an annual cap hit of $2.2 million, coming off the heaviest workload of his NHL career, and after finishing the season on a 6-1-1 run, it's safe to assume he's looking for at least a slight raise, and that's completely fair. The Flames have plenty of salary cap wiggle room, but teams are often hesitant to be allocating too much loot to their backup puck stopper, which is exactly what he will be. Vladar and Wolf split starts last fall, but the youngster emerged through the winter as the obvious workhorse in Calgary. Wolf, en route to his runner-up finish in the Calder Trophy race, was tapped for 76% of the crease time in the second half of the season. So Vladar, if he stays in Calgary, is a backup, but maybe that's not what he wants. In 30 appearances, Vladar posted a 12-11-6 record with a 2.8 goals against average and .898 save percentage. So not the best stats, but obviously not bad at all. It did go unnoticed by teammates and staff that he was handed a lot of tough. It did not go unnoticed. I should correct myself there. It did not go unnoticed by teammates and staff that he was handed a lot of tough assignments, including the second half of any back-to-back sets. That was noticed by fans. It was noticed by the media. I think everyone kind of caught on to that, of course. We talk about Wolfley a lot and the season he did have, but I think a big reason why he had such a good year was the way Dan was too, said Flames head coach Ryan Huska on a locker cleanout day. We had a great tandem. You look at our team, and that was probably the strength of our team this year. Those two guys in net gave us a chance to win every night, and it was rare when one of them had an off night, which is so true. When you're planning ahead, you know you have one area covered. For me as a coach, I know we're going to be good in net. The big question is, have those plans changed since mid-April when their backup stressed he would love to be back for a 5th season with the Flames? I think that's what we're just going to have to wait and see. It seems like contract talks have at least begun and maybe are going well. We know Vladar wants to be back, but maybe, just maybe, after playing at the World Championships and maybe he wants a shot at playing at the next Olympics in a starting role. He'll want a starting role in the NHL as well. No one will hate him if he decides to sign elsewhere for that reason. Of course, he would maybe like to be back in Calgary, knowing he would be the backup. Again, it's all about the money, just like it is with Rasmus Andersson as well. So there you go. We actually have Conroy speaking out on a couple of guys who potentially will be signing, or at least one of them could be traded away, which I know a lot of people do want to see, but we'll just have to wait and see. Now let's get into the comment of the day, as we love to do here on the channel to wrap up the video. Came from yesterday's video, of course, which was more, I guess, trade rumors involving around Peterka from the Sabres. And Preston here said, if anything, I would probably trade Kadri and Razz for Peterka and Byram, considering they're both forward and defensemen on both sides. It's even. And it is true. It's a forward and a D-man for a forward and a D-man. It makes more sense than the other one that was proposed that involved Coronato. And Coronato's not necessarily untouchable, but he's so close to that. After Parekh and Wolf, Coronato might be next on that list of guys you would not trade away. So, yes, I totally agree here. This one's interesting. It definitely makes, I would say, Buffalo better. right away. Makes us better for the future. Doesn't exactly give us a center, but it does give us a left D. So, hey, maybe there's a chance that something like this could happen. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to what you saw here today and have a wonderful rest of your day.